How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the channel. So today we are going to talk about ICAST 2021. Just wrapped up last week, and for those of you who don't know, ICAST is the largest fishing trade show in the industry, and it takes place every year. I think exclusively every year. It's in Orlando. I'm pretty excited for 2022. There's a lot of cool shit coming out, but this is what I wanted to talk about. All that cool stuff, we're going to talk about that in the next video. We're going to talk about that in part 2. But today I want to talk about the weird shit that comes out at ICAST every year. Since I started following ICAST around like 2016, when I really got into fishing, is like there's so much gimmicky stuff that companies put out. And like off the top of my head, it's from like just a few companies that I have in mind. And you'll see that as well. But like, just weird stuff. And like all the other cool stuff often gets overshadowed by like the weird like lures and just stuff that people are putting out. Because a lot of what happens is a lot of new lures or stuff that are getting released, either it's like, so take for example, it's like a crankbait. So Storm, they're coming out with a deeper diving version of the Wiggle Worm, which is cool. But like that gets overshadowed by the other stuff. Or companies will just come out with like different sizes or different colors of like different color schemes for like their crankbait, stuff like that. Electronics like Garmin, those companies come out with new electronics or updates, whatever. New rods come out, new reels. It's super cool. I always love watching the cover of it, like the coverage of it. But let's get into it. The weird shit. Let's just go through the previous like best of show or not best of show, like winners in like the best category. So in 2019, the best of show for soft freshwater lure was the Lunker Hunt Phantom Spider. We're going to pop it up somewhere on the screen here. But this thing is ridiculous. I've seen a lot of people like say they don't cast well, like they the legs like come out and yada yada yada. And Lunker Hunt, in my opinion, is one of those companies that kind of has gimmicky lures. And then in 2018, for the hardbait category, it was the Weston Freddy Frog, which this is an old design. So there is actually like an old vintage bait that I feel like this is modeled after. We'll pop that up too. And just super gimmicky though. The hook placements are weird. Like, you know, like we get what it's supposed to mimic. It's supposed to be a topwater frog, you know, it's a wake bait. But, like, just throw a topwater frog. Like, I don't feel like the value is there for like what you're buying. And then in 2017 is the Savage Gear Topwater Bat. Now these are kind of cool. They're kind of interesting. A little gimmicky. They're it's a play on like the Heading Crazy Crawler. But you know, Savage Gear, they like 3D scan like actual like bats, or like for the rat they 3D scanned an actual rat to come up with these, you know, lures. So they're like really realistic, but just kind of gimmicky. It's like, sure, a bat can fall into the water, sure, it could get ate by a fish. And then in 2016, Savage Gear also had the Savage Gear Suicide Duck. So this is a duck style bait, like the feet on the back are like props, they spin around like splash water. Yes, do a lot of predatory fish eat duck, like baby ducklings, yes. Bass, pike, muskie, like, they all eat baby ducks. But, I mean, from a fish looking up on the top water and seeing these baits, you know, they're not sure exactly what it is. They just see it's something injured or trying to get away, that, you know, that their instincts kick in, and bam, they're trying to eat something. And if it's not something they can eat, they spit it out. But just kind of ridiculous stuff. Like, a lot of this stuff is like marketed to catch the fishermen and not necessarily the fish. Like, do all of those work? Have all of those caught fish? Yes. But there's probably better options out there. And let's get into this year. So I was impressed with the lures that won the best of categories for freshwater soft bait and freshwater hard bait. So for the soft bait, it was the Berkeley Power Bait Gilly, and a little bit of controversy over this, just because some people like this lure had heavy Japanese influence, and some people are like, oh, this is just a knockoff of this, which I haven't seen the original bait. I have no input about that, but it looks like a cool bait. What won the hard bait category for freshwater is the Strike King Chick Magnet Flat-Sided Crankbait. That's a mouthful. A little bit of controversy over this too. People are like, oh, this is just a Rapala OG Slim. But honestly, it's like, so with crankbaits, jerkbaits, like lures, like that hard bait category, there's only like so much you can do to a crankbait, like to change its shape, do whatever. Like, it's gonna end up kind of looking like some of the other crankbaits and stuff out there. It's just, at that point, it comes down to, do you prefer Strike King? Do you prefer Rapala? Or these other companies, you know, the countless other companies that are out there. And, you know, maybe that's why, like, some of the gimmicky baits, like, are coming. People try marketing those out there, throwing them out there for us to buy. Just because it's something unusual, it's not something that a lot of people see. But, so, those won, for the 2021 ICAST, they won Best Soft Plastic, they won Best Hard Bait. But there was some gimmicky stuff coming out, and we're gonna pop these up on the screen as we go. So, the first one, coming from Lunker Hunt, again, not surprising, but in my opinion, a little bit gimmicky of a company. That's just my opinion, though. Nothing against them. I'm sure people love their stuff. Like, their Ned Rig stuff I see in the store all the time, and it looks good. But I'm more loyal to other companies when it comes to things like that. So they have the Skitter Lizard. So this looks like a hollow-bodied lizard, and the tail flaps in the back. Like, looking at the promotional video, like, it has the arms on the side, but those really, like, didn't seem like they moved much when I seen, like, footage of it. It's just the tail that's moving. So, can this catch fish? Yes. Do lizards get in water? Yes. There's, like, videos of, like, catch 'em all fishing, and he's feeding, like, the anoles to his largemouth bass and his other fish. Like, fish will eat lizards. You know, especially in places here in the US where lizards are pretty prolific, and they're in a lot of different places. But a little gimmicky, in my opinion. This next one is just flippin' ridiculous. So it is but again, heavy Japanese influence. That's what I saw a lot this year, and in my next video, part 2, we're going to get more into that. But this is a little ridiculous. So it is the Fish Arrow Heavy Poop Stick Bait. The heavy poop stick bait. And so yeah, quick glance, it looks like a turd. And some of their colors look like turds. But once you read it, it's like designed by Japanese anglers. It was like, it's supposed to, it has a lot of salt in it, so it is heavy. It's a heavy poop. It's a heavy turd. So it sinks really fast, and it's this compact size to where, you know, you put it on like maybe a heavier like jig head, net head, something like that, Texas rig, maybe even a shaky, like a small shaky head, something like that, so it stands up. And once you look closer at the bait, it looks like a crawfish in a defensive mode. And you know, this is what it says in the description too. So it looks like a crawfish in a defensive mode, and it's like this bigger, it's like stick bait, and it's really heavy. So it's just presenting these fish, you know, something different that they maybe haven't, you know, quite seen before. And on Japanese waters, that's like important. That's why like Japanese lures that are coming out are like a lot different than what you would traditionally see, just because Japan is pretty small, and so like all the bass fishermen there, they don't have as much waters to fish. There's the legendary Lake Biwa, which the current largemouth state record fish was caught out of. So there's places to fish, but a lot of pressure on those bodies of water. Alright, what else did I see? You know what? That was really it. Those were like not as much like gimmicky stuff this year, which I was like really happy about. And like since like more coming out of like COVID and everything, I think some of these companies wanted to seriously look at like what they're providing and give like no nonsense baits. But like I've been saying this whole time with Japanese influence, like it's really awesome because like you wouldn't know it, but like Japan has this huge bass fishing market, for those of you that don't know. And JDM stuff, Japanese domestic market lures, are becoming and have been super popular over here in the US for a lot of years. So there's a lot of Japanese companies that were releasing stuff at ICAST, which we'll get into my next video. But Taku Itu from Japan actually won fairly recently at the Bassmaster Elite on the St. Lawrence River. So like honestly, I think we can take a lot and learn a lot from these Japanese anglers. And you know, Mike Iaconelli, he's one of those American bass pros, like playing into that and having a lot of influence of like adapting some of those techniques and lures over here, which isn't surprising also because like two of the biggest reel companies and two of the best reel companies in a lot of people's opinion are Daiwa and Shimano, two Japanese companies. So but anyway, that's enough of my rant. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Tell me if you've used any of those, you know, kind of, in my opinion, gimmicky lures. And if you've had any success with them. I'm actually genuinely curious to know, because those aren't something that I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on. But by all means, if you want to, go for it. I recently bought something where in that gimmicky category, but I'm very excited about it. But hope you liked the video. Click that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Every milestone that I hit, you know, 100 subscribers, and you know, so on so forth, I'm gonna do a giveaway just because I want to give back to you people, and that's something exciting for everybody. And click that like button, share this video with a friend, share with 2 friends, and I will see you for the next ICAST video.